Alright, so welcome back. Today we're doing a few things. First, we're fixing the hitbox issue, where if you were walking diagonally, here, let me show you. If I open up the player here, if you were walking diagonally, double hitboxes would turn up. So now we're only getting one hitbox for each diagonal, even if you're going like just slightly diagonal. Alright, so we're doing that. The other thing we're adding is a pause menu that you can navigate with your controller. Alright, so yeah, let's dive right in and get started here. Jumping right in, today we're going to be fixing an issue that we've had for a little while. If I go to play right now, I pointed this out last time, but I just want to point it out again in case anybody skipped the opening scene tutorial. So if we look at our player here, if I open up my player, I have these different hitboxes. Now, if I'm walking straight left and attack, just the left hitbox. Same thing, straight right. Straight down, straight up. The problem is if I'm walking diagonally like this, you can see that both my down and left are turning up. Down and right, up and right, up and left. And that's not ideal. That's not what we want happening. So we're going to fix that first here. And it's actually a lot simpler than I thought. The reason that this is happening, if we go into our player and then go into our animator, I want to go into the attacking here. Now if I'm looking at my attacking blend tree, down here in the corner you can see a little preview of what we're going to see. And if I grab this red dot, you can see what animation is going to play. So I'm just going to hit this. I'm going to make it play like that. So if I'm down here, like straight here in the diagonal, it's playing the attack down animation. But since it's blending in between these two, you can see this kind of blue stuff here. Since it's blending in between these two, it's actually doing characteristics of both of them. So I had thought that in order to fix this, we'd have to remove the blend tree, which would mean we'd have either substates to deal with, which are not as easy to use as a blend tree, in my opinion. You can also see over here how these blue lines are telling you which one is active. So like if I'm straight down, you can see that the blue line is only attack down. Straight right, straight left, straight up. You can see how these blue lines are changing. I thought we'd have to get rid of the blend tree, but we don't. There's actually a simpler solution. So let me actually stop this. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to have to do this for... No, I only have to do this for attacking. That's good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add 4 more states. So I'm going to add another motion field. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these are going to be for the 4 corners. So this first motion field is going to be for 1, 1. The second motion field is going to be for 1, -1. The third motion field is going to be for -1, -1. And then the last motion field is for -1, 1. Alright, now I've added these 4 corners. Now, what I'm going to do with those 4 corners is I'm going to determine that I should have just one animation, and then there's one small change to the script that's going to make this work exactly like it should. So that one small change to the animation is I want to decide which animation I want to be playing when I'm in these corners. So like in this down right corner, it looks like it wants, let's have that one be the down animation. So in the down right corner, which is 1, -1, here, I'm going to go to my animation folder, my player folder, and I'm going to have that be attack down when it's 1, -1. Next, I'm going to go to 1, 1, which is up and right. So I'm going to pull up here. So I'm going to have this one be attacking right. So that's 1, 1 is going to be attack right. And then I'm going to pull this over here to up and left. I'm going to have that one be attacking up. So grab attack up for -1, 1. And then the last one is going to be attack left. So there we go. All right. Now, this actually makes things easier, believe it or not. Do I have? Why is it? Oh, it's because I have that one highlighted, that's why. All right, put that back to where it was. 1, -1. All right, highlight none of them. I don't want them highlighted. Okay, there we go. So now you can see that we have these, but this doesn't seem to fix the issue, because if we're in between, which we could be on a controller, we could be this way, it's still blending between these two states here. And you can see that with that little blue wires. So the next solution that we need to do is we need to open up our player movement script. So player, and then player movement. And I don't have Visual Studio open, so this is going to take just a second. So I'll meet you right back. All right, so here we are in the player movement script, and the one thing I want to look at right now is my update animation and move. So if the change is greater than vector 3.0, the first thing we're going to do is move the character. Now after I move the character, I want to round the change.x and the change.y. Now those get reset every frame, and they get reset back to 0 as soon as we run the update loop. And if I'm doing it after we move the player, then that's totally fine. We're not changing the direction the player is moving at all. So I'm going to add here, so I'm going to say change.x is equal to mathf.round, and I want to round change.x. I'm going to do the same thing to change.y. Change.y is equal to mathf.round change.y. That way when we're setting the move x and move y are only ever going to be 0 or 1. So like if change.x is 0.707, meaning if we're going directly diagonal, then the move.x is going to change to 1, and it's going to put it in one of those 8 places. So I've covered, we should have covered everything. At least I think I have. If you guys find an error with this, please let me know. But let's jump back into Unity here. And I'm even going to, I'm going to need to grab my controller here. I'm even going to grab my controller and try all kinds of weird directions to make sure that it works the way it should. I don't know why Apple only puts 2 regular USB ports. I guess it's good that I have an older Mac, so I don't have only 2 USB-C ports or something ridiculous like that, but I have to disconnect my mouse to do this, which is dumb. Okay, rant over. All right, so I'm going to hit play. Again, I've got the player expanded over here, so we're kind of looking at that. And I'm going to go in these kind of, so see, down and left, I'm only getting the left hitbox. Down and right, I'm getting the down. Getting the right, I'm getting the up. So I'm only ever getting one hitbox, and that's the hitbox that corresponds to the animation. So there we go. That's something I know is bothering a lot of you guys for a while, as it's one of the most commonly asked questions right now on the Discord. So there's my fix for it. And I mean, my fix could be bad. If it is bad, please let me know. I'm just one person and I can't check absolutely everything. So, all right, cool. So there's that done. Now, let's talk about a pause menu here. So I want to go super simple for the pause menu. So for my pause menu, I'm actually going to make this a separate canvas. I want it to be completely separate. So this main canvas here isn't going to be where the pause stuff is going to go. I need to clean up this hierarchy. This is a mess. Okay. Anyway, so UI, and I want to add a canvas. I'm going to go to my scene view. And this new canvas, I'm going to turn the old canvas off, so I'm not looking at it, so I'm only looking at the new canvas. I'm going to rename it Pause Canvas. And cool. Now Pause Canvas is going to have a panel, so I'm going to go to UI, and we'll use a panel. And by default, the panel looks like that. It kind of gives like, it doesn't quite give a blur like you'd want like a transparent glass look to have, but it's not too bad. I actually like it if it's closer to the blacks, so I put it in like a blue black like that. So I actually think this looks better than if it's white, and I also think it looks better. Somebody pointed out that I say sorry for that weird cut a lot, so I'm specifically not going to say sorry for that weird cut. I think this looks better if there's no source image, so I'm going to just go to none here. Because the source image it uses actually has some little rounded corners, so you can see like a little bit of a gap, or you could have before. I think it looks better like this. Also, that source image has a little bit of gray to it, so the colors don't appear quite like you'd want them to. All right, so here's my panel. I'm going to call this my pause panel. And I'm going to add to this, I'm going to add an image. The only difference between an image and a panel in Unity is the default settings. They're essentially the same. They both get a canvas renderer and rect transform and an image. It's just that their anchors and size are different by default. Just going to make this nice and big. Yeah, I'm going to make it bigger than that. Meow. Meow. Now there's a lot that you can do with a pause panel. I'm not going to do a ton with it right now. I just want to set it up so that we have a pause system working. And the pause system I'm going to use isn't even my favorite way of doing a pause. So this is something that could be revisited. But I just want to get something working right now. So I think it's objects 128. If I remember that correctly, I'm gonna be real happy. If I don't remember it correctly, it is objects 128. All right. And I want this sliced like it is, and I'm gonna add a UI. Let's do Text Mesh Pro. Make this nice and big. It's gonna go in the center here. So something like that. All right. And this is going to say paused. And we're going to use BitScript. And we're going to make this... Oh, hey. That's something weird about text mesh. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to center this in both directions. And I want this to auto size. I want it even bigger than 72 though. Like, I want it huge. That's neat because the color of the text matches the background. I'm going to change my vertex color here, and this is actually going to change my vertex color everywhere I use this font. So maybe I won't. Maybe I'll change my image color. I'll give it like a little bit of a tan so that white sticks out. There we go. That looks good. So because I changed it on the intro screen to have a green lettering, it now has a green lettering everywhere. I can make a new font to replace this old one so that I can have this have the gray lettering or gray outline it used to, but I think this is fine. Okay, so we got our text. I'm going to make a couple of buttons. UI, where there it is, button. Make this nice and big. Put it in the center. And I'm going to duplicate that by hitting Control D. And then my two buttons here are going to be, one is going to be resume. Now you could have more than that. Like you could have a pause menu and then like a button to say inventory. And again, I know a lot of people are asking me to do inventory. I will cover inventory very, very soon. So resume, and then this is going to be quit to menu. So I'm going to change the text on these. Resume, and I want that to be, no, I want it even bigger than that. Let's go, all right, let's say we were doing 65, and then turn off best fit. Because best fit uses, for some reason, it doesn't use it on like the update loop, but it uses it again and again and again. So quit to main, and we use best fit, and we'll make that nice and big. Yeah, 60 is probably good for this. So we'll put it at 60, and then we'll turn off best fit. We'll also turn both of these to, that really changes stuff, doesn't it? So best fit, If I turn off best fit, yeah. Let's go to 40. Turn off best fit. I can go a little bit bigger. 45. Nope, bigger. I know this is riveting content, watching me futz around with text. This is going to be bit script, and wow, that just looks so different. I think this one looks like it's bold compared to whatever. Okay. All right, now I want to make a little script to manage my pause canvas here. So my pause canvas has the pause panel. So I want something that's going to turn the pause panel on and off. And when it turns the pause panel on, then, you know, we're paused. And the way I'm going to do pause is not my favorite way to do pause, but it's kind of quick and dirty. All right, so I'm going to go to my scripts folder. I'm going to go to my game, create, C# script, pause manager, and I'll open this up in Visual Studio. All right, so first I want to have a Boolean value that's declared. That's whether or not the game is currently paused. So this doesn't need to be public. I'm going to make it private. Bool is paused, and by default is paused is going to be equal to false. All bools are default false, but no worries. Next I want to say if input.get button, and I need to define a button for this so that I can use it for both the gamepad and the keyboard. I'm going to call this button, I think I didn't use uppercase anywhere else, so I'm not going to use it here. If input.get button pause, then I'm going to say is paused is equal to not is paused. Is that going to work? I think it should. Alright, so now the next thing I want to do is say so we want to do is paused is equal to not is paused. So that means if it's false, we're making it true. If it's true, we're making it false. Inside here, we're also going to check to see, we'll create a variable for our pause canvas. Public game object, pause panel. And we'll say if is paused, we're going to make that pause panel active. So pause panel dot set active true. And then this is what I mean when I said this isn't my favorite way to do a pause. I'm going to change the timescale to 0. Time.timescale equals 0f. I don't like doing that because it messes with a whole bunch of things. To set the timescale to 0, for now, we're going to do it this way. Okay, so if it's paused, else, we want to do pause panel dot set active false and time.timescale equals 1f. Now, I'm going to put the functions in here for those two buttons as well. So we're going to call this void resume. And for void resume, we're going to say is paused is equal to not is paused. And then we'll add the scene manager here using Unity engine dot scene management. We'll call this void quit to main, and these need to be public. I forgot that. And in the quit to main void, we're going to do scene manager dot load scene, and I'm going to pass in a little variable here too. We're going to do public string. We'll call this main menu. Load scene, and the scene we want to load is main menu. Alright, cool. So we're going to save that. We're going to make both of these voids public because they need to be used with a button. And now there's a few things we need to do. So jumping back to Unity, I'm going to let this compile. I'm going to try to be patient this time. We'll see if I can do that. Alright, cool. So pause canvas, I'm going to attach to my pause canvas my pause manager script. And my event system, I want my first button to be resume. And then, so pause canvas, I want my pause panel to be this guy. And I want my main menu to be, what did I call it? Scenes, start menu. Alright, now I'm going to go to my axes. So edit, project settings, input. I'm going to add another axis. This is going to be axis 21. And axis 21 is going to be for pause, all lowercase like I did. My positive button is going to be escape, and then I want it to be the start button. Now somebody had pointed out to me that the joystick buttons I was using are for Mac, and I didn't realize they were different for Windows and Mac, which is why I had to change it last time. So I'm going to look up the Unity joystick button map for Mac right now, and I don't have internet on my laptop, so I'm using my phone. Unity joystick button map Mac. Alright, let's see what this tells me. Images. Alright, there we go. The pause button is button 9 on Mac. So this is going to be joystick button 9. Alright. So cool. We should be good. I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to play here. Plug in my Xbox controller. And if I hit pause. Oh, ha! Did I used get button when I should have used get button down. Alright, so back to Visual Studio. This should be get button down. Get button gets registered every frame it's down, and I'm not fast enough to only push the button down for 1/30th of a second, or 1/60th, or 1/100th, however fast this is running. So let's try this again. So, alright. Alright, so now you'll notice in the background that because I use that timescale, these guys are quiet. And so I'm going to use resume. Oh, I didn't hook up the buttons. Alright, let me... You must have to type in escape, the full word, because I tried using my escape and it didn't work. So, project settings, pause. Oh, for some reason. Escape? Okay, cool. So that works, I guess. So let me make sure it works with escape. So here we go. Escape and start both work like they're supposed to. Cool. So now we need to make those buttons work. And to do that, we're going to go to our pause panel. I'm going to find the resume button. I'm going to add an on-click event from the pause canvas. And from the pause canvas, we're going to use the pause manager. And for pause manager, we're going to use resume. And then quit, we're going to add an on-click event from the pause canvas, from the pause manager. and quit to main. Alright, so let's try this again now. Okay, so resume doesn't work, but quit to main does. That's weird. Oh, haha! And here's that issue with time.timescale. The animator runs off of timescale. So if you set your timescale to 0, you can't use animations anymore. Because I set it to 0, and then I never set it back. So that's kind of an issue. In either of these, is pause is equal to not is paused. I wonder why I didn't do that. Oh, because that's why. So I need to grab this and put this here. And then all of this is in there. So I'm going to change this from resume to change pause. And then I'm just going to get rid of all of this and call change pause so that I'm not duplicating my code. Alright, cool. Now, the other thing I need to do is when I quit to main, reset the timescale. Equals 1F. Alright. I'm glad I tried that. Otherwise, I'd have a ton of comments about that. Because this is an issue. This is how I always used to do pause menus, is using time.timescale, but you need to make sure that you have some place where you're setting it back. Okay, well, that's weird. So let's take a look at our pause canvas here and see what's going on. I don't know if I've shown you guys this or not, but you can, my isPause is private, but you can look at private variables if you change your editor to debug mode. So we're currently isPaused. Let's go back over here. Oh, it's because I changed the name. Good lord. If any of you out there were screaming that at me, that I changed the name of the... And now I have to go from debug back to normal. If any of you out there were screaming at me that I changed the name of the function I wanted to do, congratulations. You are smarter than I am. So let's try this again here. This video is getting long. I meant this to be shorter. Alright. So, pause. There we go. Cool. Alright. So we fixed the double hitbox issue, and we instituted a pause menu. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the description down below. You can follow me on Twitter to find out when I post new videos. Join my Discord to talk to all the super cool folks there. And, oh yeah, I might as well turn this canvas back on. And, yeah. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope everybody out there has themselves a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving a like, subscribing to the channel, or telling a friend who might be interested. Also, please consider following me on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can earn access to tangible rewards, like early access to videos, backer-only videos and series, polls for future topics, streams, and even individual tutoring sessions. You can find a link to that in the description. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.